Kugan Cassius, IFL TV in association with MGM Marbella. Quite appropriately for this show, isn't it, really? Return of the Mac here at Croke Park in Dublin. Well, I'll be honest with you, that's probably one of the most entertaining press conferences I've been to, and you know how many I've been to.
I just tweeted, that was the most enjoyable press conference I've ever been to. It was fantastic. When you come into and I guess it is a new territory or new market for us, to get that kind of response, you know, to be honest with you, just to let you know what's going through my mind. This is what happens as a promoter. So you're coming up the lift to the room and you're thinking, please let it be busy. Please. There's nothing worse than, I mean, we've had some rascal press conferences, Coogie, haven't we? I mean, we've had some where there's been 5 or 6 people there, you know. So I was coming up in the lift to this floor, I was thinking, please be busy. But as we're getting closer, I can hear the noise. I come out of the lift and you can't move. It's mobbed, hundreds of people. And you straight over to Anthony Joshua asking for photos, autographs. Macklin's there getting mobbed, you know. And you think, oh yes, you know, this is great. People who are understanding of what we try and do, people who love what we try and do, people who love the sport of boxing, people who just love the sport in general. The passion in that room was fantastic. And like, you know, so many great fights on the card. And of course the rivalry between Spike and Fitz, which you'll probably get some decent YouTube clips for you. See that, Andy? And it's got a mixture of everything. Can't wait to be here on August the 30th.
Obviously, like you said, Anthony Joshua will fight Zavarotny. Callie fine Luke Wilton, young Luke Keeler there. And more fights to be added.
Yeah, well, let's go through them. So we've got Matthew Macklin will take on Jorge Sebastian Hearn in a WBC eliminator. Hearn is the international champion, rated 4 in the WBC.
You love that eliminator bit, don't you?
I do, because it's important. Because it's important to move your fighter effectively up the rankings, and every fight's got to have a purpose and a reason. So that's the answer to your question. Then we've got Anthony, who's fighting Yaroslav Zavarotny. He just went 10 rounds with David Price. Got a high knockout percentage ratio. The absolute perfect fight for Anthony Joshua at this time. Hopefully a challenge, and more importantly, hopefully rounds as well. But again, when you get hit by Anthony Joshua, I can't guarantee that. Luke Wilton, just up from Belfast, coming down, fighting Cal Yafai. Great fight for Cal. You know, coming on, Wilton sold a lot of tickets. Spike O'Sullivan against Anthony Fitzgerald. Wonderful fight. Passion, rivalry, banter. You know, that's a great little domestic fight for over here. Luke Keeler on the bill. Tommy McCarthy. Declan Geraghty from the Irish side. And then John Ryder, who's got family over here as well. And Tommy Coyle on the bill. Packed night. And the 2,500 tickets went in about 10 minutes. I just wish we had 5,000 or 6,000. But this is just the beginning. We'll be at the National Stadium on August the 30th. Then we'll be at the O2 in November in Dublin. And hopefully we'll be out there next summer.
Just so people know where we are, Croke Park. You talked about potentially Macklin versus Lee, Macklin versus Murray, or Macklin versus whoever for the world title.
Mm-hmm. In November, yeah.
Will it be one of them 3 fights? Yeah. Have you spoken to Martin Murray's lot about potential fight?
No, but I mean the plan is, I think when Matthew beats Highland, he'll be number 2 in the WBC. I think we can make a final eliminator with, and I love a final eliminator even more than an eliminator, for Macklin against Murray for the WBC title, final eliminator. So the Andy Lee fight, of course, is still of interest, and you know, we'll pursue that as well. And of course, maybe even San Solomon. You know, if we're packing out the O2, I'm sure we can get the money together to bring him over as well. So exciting times, very exciting. You know, and I'm pleased to be bringing boxing back to Dublin.
You was grilled in that. When people watch this press conference video later, they will see that like there were people giving you today, and they
weren't really giving. They just want answers on certain things.
So, sorry,
you know, and people were complaining that they couldn't get tickets because we sold out so quickly. So the complaints you quite like to hear as a promoter. People were asking why we didn't go to the O2. We could have sold it out. And you know, listen, Rome wasn't built in a day. Slowly, catchy monkey. You know, we've got to do the right things in this market, and I think let's go to the National Stadium. We'll fill that, 2,500. Then we'll go to the O2. We'll fill that, 10,000. And then if we get the right fight, build the profiles of the fighters correctly, and get the right card, there's no reason why we can't come to Croke Park in the next summer.
Slowly, catchy monkey.
You've not heard that before?
No.
It's all about being patient. You know, greed is a very dangerous thing. Greed ruins people. Do you know what I mean? The moment you get greedy in life, You know, you've heard this one before. My old man always taught me, always leave a little bit of bread in the fish's mouth. And that represents a story of greed. Don't catch your fish, and when you hook him on, go out, get him in, and just sling him back in the water. Catch your fish, good boy, have a little bit of bread. Off you go, see you again soon. That's the key.
Do you really believe that?
I do believe that. I've seen people turn greedy, and this applies to all walks of life. This applies to people in any business, and in boxing this applies to promoters, managers, broadcasters, fighters as well. Do you hear that, Anthony? Fighters. Yeah. He wasn't even listening.
What are you playing, Snake?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
I was giving this big speech about, keep your feet on the ground. What's that? But no, that applies to everyone. And at the end of the day, if you keep your feet on the ground and you understand that life is also about giving, not just taking. And that is in all walks of life, not just in business, but in all walks of life. The moment greed comes into it, the moment you are finished.
Interesting theory.
But that's good for fans because we're in a great position. We're number one. I'm not looking to be greedy. I'm not looking to just go out there and destroy everybody and take, we're just doing our own thing. Oh, yeah.
He's listening.
Yeah.
He's listening.
Yeah. So, it's...
all right, so that's Dublin. Couple of issues to clear up. Okay. First thing, a lot of back and forth talk over this whole drug testing situation. Can you clarify, Brooke Porter, what the situation is?
So, again, random testing is in place with USADA. Okay. Now, originally the bout was going to be September the 6th, so 3 weeks later. Random testing is underway. They haven't been tested yet. I'm not over the moon, but again, this is a very complicated process, and random testing, by the way, means random testing. But all we've been told is they will be tested this week. Kel is in America, should land shortly. It will be tested almost immediately. It's only, 3 weeks, just under 2.5 weeks out from the fight. I would have preferred it a couple of weeks ago. We've been pushing. You'll have to speak to Golden Boy. I'm not... don't forget as well, because of the talk of random testing here for this fight, a lot of people who don't know the ins and outs believe that it's just standard in every single bout, world title bout,
have to ask for it.
Which it isn't. We requested it, and it's something we request in all fights, not just against Sean Porter. This isn't about Sean Porter. This is about drug testing in sport. They've got a great policy over in where we are, where all our fighters get tested randomly. Anthony, Carl Froch, Kell Brook, they all get random tested, where they just turn up at your house. But that's how you're going to catch people, isn't it? Not, we'll be there on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, So, yes, ideally we'd have liked random testing to start a couple of weeks ago. It hasn't. But they will be tested 2.5 weeks out from the fight, and again next week, and on fight night as well. A lot of the fights that take place, and Andrade against Rose, even I think Froch Ward, there was no random testing for these fights. It was just on fight night, which, by the way, is a total waste of time. So, people have got to understand this is quite unusual to have this random testing set up for this specific fight. Would have liked it to start a couple of weeks earlier, but it is underway. And the random testing, I've seen the papers, and it has been set, probably been in existence for about a week now. But as we stand, they haven't tested, and actually Kel only arrives today. So they'll both be tested this week. Would have preferred a slightly more random nature. But again, both camps knew there was random testing. So, that was one of the main reasons. And sometimes it's just a scare. Sometimes you can't stop people. Sometimes these guys are so advanced in their way of cheating. You look at the cyclists, that you can't even catch them. But we've got to do all we can to at least put the fear into people that they're going to be tested. And, that's where we're at. If that makes sense.
Okay.
It's been blown a little bit out of proportion, to be honest with you. It was just something we were insistent on. And I would have liked it to have happened 1-2 weeks prior to this. But we're going to get it done. And it's been in place. And they knew it was in place. So, I don't know whether the fact that it was brought forward 3 weeks has affected anything. But, there's no accusations. Like I said, it's not about Sean Porter. It's about boxing in general. It's a dangerous sport, and there has to be a level playing field.
Okay.
What's the other thing?
Froch.
You said a couple of things.
Froch, CHAVEZ,
Froch.
next January.
Nothing to tell you. I mean, you know, talks.
Is that a potential date though?
Talks
24th.
reopened, if you like, with CHAVEZ, and the proposed date from Top Rank and from HBO is January 24th. But you know, again, a long way to go. Long way to go. We haven't even had draft contracts, anything. You know, so but one of the reasons we want to get it sorted is obviously we've got to sort out James DeGale's next step as well. So we put a sort of time frame of it, 10 days to 2 weeks. We want to know. Is Carl Froch fighting this year? Is he fighting next year? Is he fighting DeGale? Is he fighting Kessler? Is he fighting CHAVEZ?
But if it's CHAVEZ, it will be next year, January.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
If he fights CHAVEZ, it will not be this year. But there's a long way to go.
So failing that fight doesn't materialise. Who's next in line in your eye?
Well, DeGale is the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Could be Kessler. It could be no one. He's not, you know, I mean, he's not chomping at the bit. He's not phoning me up saying, when am I out? When am I out? He's too busy jumping through hoops with Lucy Mack, like doing somersaults in this tumble thing. I mean, but he loves, you know, he enjoys it because he loves competing, you know. But there'll come a time where he'll want to go back into camp, but it's not really at the top of his agenda at the moment.
Okay. Anthony, come here. How are you, Anthony?
I'm good, thank you.
Have you got anything you want to say to your promoter? Live on IFL TV?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Show me the money.
Keep up the good work. 2-3 years in the business and doing great things. And
I am your ambassador of Quam.
of Quam,
Have
of
you seen
swag.
that? Have you seen that?
I
Jerry
was-
Maguire.
Oh, the Show Me the Money.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it though.
I'm going to play you that clip later when he's on the phone. And he's walking, the athlete's walking around and he's trying to do the deal, right? And his other agent's trying to nick everyone. And he's down to this last client, which is Cuba Gooding Jr.,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's walking around, and the Cuba Gooding Jr. can just smell the desperation in Tom Cruise's voice. And he's going, I will do this, I will back you. And Cuba Gooding's going, he's just walking around his kitchen going, he knows he's going to sign with him because he likes him. But he's going, tell me. You're my ambassador of Quan, Jerry. And Jerry's going, oh yes. He's going, but I just want you to do one thing for me. You got to do a family motto, something that's so important to all of us. What's that? I'll do anything. You just got to show me the money. What? Shout it, Jerry. Show me the money.
He's over the other side of the blower.
Yeah.
I need to see this, you know. But this is what he's doing.
This is what he gets me to do most nights.
Yeah?
You know what I mean? He phones me up, he goes, show me the money. I want you to sing it. And some nights I have to go outside because my kids are asleep, down the bottom of the garden, and start shouting it out to him.
Do you two have like long phone conversations late of the night?
Not late at night.
no.
We speak though.
Yeah.
And we both got the same idea, so it's brief. It's just everything is on track.
Does he ask you a lot of questions?
He's a deep thinker, you know, but listen, we all know the way the business works. In a couple of years' time, it won't be Eddie Hearn, Matchroom presents Anthony Joshua. It'll be AJ Promotions, and at the bottom, in association with this, because I'll be fat and bald by then, in association with fat bald Eddie Hearn. But listen, that's okay, because I go back to greed. Do you know what I mean? No, because I'm not bothered about being a fucking, I want this, I want him. In time, that's just how the business plays out. And he'll probably have his own team. He'd have 46 chaperones. He'd have a DJ. He'd have a tailor. He'd have a hairdresser. Follow him around. And then there'll be me just walking around like this. You know what I mean? But it's okay because, listen, Floyd Mayweather's got Leonard Ellerby. I don't mind being Leonard Ellerby to Floyd Mayweather. And I don't mind being the man who plays a part in Anthony Joshua's career. At the moment, he's being guided by us.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll always be guided by us. But he can be the front man in years to come because that's how the business has changed. You know, in sport of boxing, it used to be a real sort of slave business where you had the promoters and the boxers were just getting paid peanuts and they did exactly what the promoters say. Now they take control, the fighters, just like Carl Froch. We talk, I advise him, but ultimately he makes the decisions and he takes the lion's share of the money. And that's how it'll be with Anthony Joshua. But that's okay because he will make so much money that I'm not greedy. Do you know what I mean?
When everyone's eating.
Exactly. But you'll just be eating better than most.
All right.
You'll be having the big fucking pheasant, do you know what I mean, with the bones sticking out the top, and I'll be down Nando's. But I like Nando's.
I'll be down. I'll always be down Nando's.
Oh, especially with your black card.
I'll always be down Nando's.
Black card.
But you know, this is why this journey is so exciting, because anything can happen.
Yeah.
And what we've got here is we've got the ultimate product. We have got this diamond, right? That every night you go to bed and you just give it a polish and you look at it. But right now, this diamond's only worth X amount of money. But we know that once we chisel it in the right places and once it grows, this diamond is going to be potentially the biggest thing that boxing's ever seen. Definitely in this country and potentially in the world. But we've got a long, long way to go. But how exciting is it that we know we can get there? But what about the pressure? The pressure of a mistake, especially in heavyweight boxing.
Yeah.
He takes one on the chin against Yaroslav Zavarotny, it's over. You can come back, but it's a little bit like David Price. Once there's a blueprint, and once someone's shown a weakness, that's it. It's a little bit like, you know, maybe even like a George Groves, where people now will look at George Groves and think, you know what, maybe I could knock him out, maybe I could sort of, and at the moment, we're 8-0. There is no blueprint, as people say. But it's very early days, but he's doing everything perfectly. 8 wins, 8 KOs. But the great thing about him is he's hungry. And he's so humble. So as long as he stays hungry, stays humble, and as long as he doesn't, he's so PC in interviews, isn't he? I mean, look at how he is now. Once you turn that camera on, he's like...
We're waiting to unleash
the real Anthony Joshua.
The real Anthony Joshua.
In the interview.
Right.
He gave a good little speech there in the interview. He did mix it up with, you know, normally it's... I've not boxed in Dublin before. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. But that's why he always says the right things, you know.
All right.
We just got to get the shorts right, because when he boxed in Glasgow, it was Anthony Joshua.
Well,
he came out to the Proclaimers. It was one of the best receptions I've ever heard. And this time he's Anthony Joshua.
They've got to get the shorts right. Got to get my clover on there.
Tricolour.
Got to get Scotty Cardell walking me out as well.
Scotty Cardell's everything. He's a bit Irish, Scottish.
Blackpoolian, yeah.
I like Scotty because we can box him anywhere and pretend he's from
Scottish,
there.
isn't he?
Yeah, Scottish.
Does he have a 40
He's probably got a little bit of Irish. He's got the clover. He has got the clover.
Yeah.
He's probably got a little bit of Irish in him as well.
I think so. All right, well listen, Leonard, Floyd, thanks for talking to IFL TV. Just remember, if you're Leonard and you're Floyd, we're Fight Hype.
Right? So you get all the access.
So we always get the access.
Leonard, was it Ellie Setback?
Was Leonard Enderby? Was he a strength and conditioning trainer? How did he?
Yeah, he was actually.
What, for Floyd?
Yeah, for years. Yeah. Even Heyman was in a corner. I was watching it the other day. He's been in boxing for years. Yeah. They've been around for years. Yeah, his brother, Al Heyman's brother, boxed.
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah, and got beaten by Sugar Ray Leonard.
Really?
Yeah, so he's been around for years.
He's teaching you some stuff.
I don't know nothing. I just talk bollocks.
At the end of the day, you got to handle what's in front of you. Don't worry about who's behind you.
Okay, we can leave it on that note.
Stay hungry, stay humble.
Okay.
No, it is.
What's his slogans, Arnie?
Keep printing money for these boys.
100%. I agree.
So that's what it's all about.
I will agree.
All about the Benjamins, baby.
Exactly.
Kevin Cassius, Edward Hearn, Anthony Joshua, IFL TV. Thank you very much.
Peace. Yes.